to this week's astrology. And so this is the 19th to the 25th of October, and arguably the most auspicious week of this year because Jupiter is moving into its exaltation in Cancer today. I feel like this is a week really after a hard slog through some very difficult planetary transits. This is a week to receive the wisdom, to bank on abundance. And I don't mean money, I mean the idea that the universe is always giving you whatever you need for the path that is in front of you. And yes, our ego can have other ideas of what we should be doing, and that's where the tension kind of comes on walking our path. But this is a week just to acknowledge the abundance of oxygen around you, which allows you to breathe, the abundance of food, which allows you to live, or the body to live, the abundance of people you might meet, the way in which you have enough money to buy coffee each day, or tea, or whatever your pleasure is, and to really acknowledge what you have. There is a really big focus, not just because of Jupiter entering Cancer, on the idea of abundance and also the wisdom of knowing what you have and also how to spend what you have, which is a huge thing. But also because we have Diwali this week, which will coincide with the new moon, also happening at the beginning of the week, which is also about abundance. So the thing I'd be saying about this week is there's a deeply introverted energy to it because the moon is waning, and we actually won't really feel that extroversion return until next Saturday. And it can also feel, like I said, an abundant energy, even though it is introverted. It can be deeply purifying. It can really feel like you're at the start of something new, something which is going to require dedication and focus from you, and to even work towards something which is slightly audacious, something maybe you haven't previously had the energy to pursue, but this week is going to give you the vitals, the resources to do that. Now, if you want to learn more about the new moon and Diwali, which will be, well, the new moon will be in a part of Libra called Chitra Nakshatra, you can check out the ritual and reading. I'll put the details below, and you'll receive a personal written reading just for that new moon so you know where it's happening in your chart, what's manifesting, as well as a sacred intention setting practice and astrology forecast. Now, like I said, the biggest energy of this week is really Jupiter entering Cancer today, deeply auspicious, brings expansion in living circumstances, which you'll start to get a flavor of between now and the 6th of December, when he's giving us a dip into what's going to be coming next year. So you can find that this is a really good time with property if you're trying to sell a house, buy a house, exchange something, and it can also bring you incredible wisdom into what abundance you already have with you, wisdom into your family, into your maternal lineage, and that can be quite a lot of luck that comes. I will do a deep dive into Jupiter in Cancer, and I'll put the link below when it is live. So let's kick off. Sunday, the 19th of October, I would label this day new beginnings. Jupiter enters Cancer. He will be in Cancer in sidereal or Vedic astrology until the 5th to 6th of December. In a part of Cancer he rules called Purnavasu. This is very, very lucky energy. We like this. It's giving us favorable circumstances. And as Jupiter enters Cancer, he will be in harmony with Mars, Saturn, and Neptune. Like, yes. So I really do feel like Jupiter entering Cancer is going to bring the wisdom to bring about shifts in government that we've been trying or looking for in the collective, as well as a lot of energy which will be coming up around belonging, around whose home is whose, who owns what, around Indigenous rights and really the rights of the land that we live upon. There can also be a drive within you to expand, to grow in the partnerships that you have within your home or someone you might own home or property or an asset with. As well as psychologically, this can be a period of time of really building greater belonging, security, and protection, but in a way which encompasses your neighbor. It's not about you as an individual feeling safe, it's really about you within your community, fostering community. Now, as Pluto is going to be opposed, also aspecting Jupiter, it can also be a period between now and December of digging up energy around the shadow of not belonging, of feeling isolated, of not knowing where you're meant to be, and really seeing where you project that onto other people. You project your suffering around your own belonging onto others. And we want to take responsibility for our karma. It's really the first step in self awareness. And this Jupiter in Cancer is giving us the ability to do that. Now, I would be saying use this transit, this period between now and the 5th to 6th of December, to really pay attention to hints about the new chapter you're stepping into. There's the revitalization of something very significant in your life that is taking place, and it can bring about wealth in something you're selling. So, if you're selling your home, it can also bring creative energy, like the call to renovate, to do something to your home, to create a new home. And even things like growing trees, creating a garden, finding belonging in nature, finding belonging with the land that you're on, as well as help those whose lands have been taken from them through colonization, through capitalism. There can be a really big focus on how we give land back, on how we work in community with our privilege to help those that deserve the belonging that we all deserve. Now, the moon today is going to be in Virgo. It's moving from Uttara Falguni to Hasta within Virgo, and it's going to be sitting with Venus the entire time. I love this. Um, it's a moon very much like Jupiter entering Cancer. This moon is also echoing that it's about new beginnings. It's the call to embrace new partnerships, new opportunities to connect with others. And they can be really small. It can just be like going out and meeting new people or meeting someone at a cafe. It can be and that said, the energy's introverted, so there can be the call to connect, and then at the same time, almost a part of you being like, but I kind of want to stay at home. I kind of want to be with me. So just notice that balance. There can be a really tangible and material output from the moon today, a really call to be in the physical world, to feel embodied, to find physical connections, even to make something with your hands if you don't feel like connecting with other people. The thing with today, with the moon in Virgo, is just be really careful with not overthinking. In fact, that's great advice, just full stop, but great advice this week, particularly through to the new moon on Tuesday. Just overthinking can ruin your fun. So you can find that if the mind is overthinking, if it's getting anxious, just find a way to bring it back to yourself. Maybe that might mean connecting with people you're really comfortable with today, having one-on-one conversations instead of being in big groups, and just notice the quality of the mind when it can be a little bit disturbed. You can find that although the circumstances are really happy because the moon's in Virgo, the mind is just naturally looking for problems. On Monday, the 20th of October, I would be saying this is a day of introverted organization. If you've been looking to get your shit together, this is a day to do it. Um, we're going to have the new moon Tithi start, so the timing for the new moon will start. Diwali timing starts. And so the energy is as introverted as it's going to get this month. It's really about going within, it's really tuning into your own wisdom. And that might mean that you naturally feel this call to spend more time in meditation, more time in bed, like it might be hard to get up in the morning, or simply just enjoying doing nothing, which sounds really cool, but it definitely grates against the societal programming we have of being productive. If you can enjoy that sweetness of nothing. If you do have the energy on Monday, this Tithi marks the start of Diwali, Deepavali, the festival of lights, and it's aligned with the new moon in Chitra this week in Libra. Chitra is the part of Libra that it's in. So you can find that today and even on Tuesday, they're days to clean, to cleanse your home, to declutter, to create space for the new energy you want to let in. And this shifting around the home can actually be a material reflection of the decluttering and the unblocking you're doing within you to your own abundance. The moon will still be in Virgo until tomorrow, even though we're going to have a new moon in Libra. The moon will still be in Virgo today, even though we're starting the new moon timing, which means this is when the moon is most potent. It's at its darkest leading into the new moon. It's the best time for laying intentions. It'll be in Hasta for most of the day. So you can find that this is a great day to use your hands, to cleanse, to clear, to move things around, to organize, to distribute. Particularly if you, like, I'm looking at my room at the moment as I say this, I have a lot of stuff lying around that really does need to be cleaned up, and it feels like that will be the day to do it. Now, the moon will still be with Venus. So, in this kind of sorting out and decluttering energy and organizing energy, which can extend through to work, you can find that there's also a beauty to it. It's like you're doing it to make things look prettier, to make them look more aesthetic. And you might even want to invest in things that help you organize, like stationery or little binders or folders. But this is very much about making your environment pleasing and aesthetic and you like falling back in love with the environment that you're in. Now, Mercury is going to be conjunct Mars on Monday in Libra, in a part of Libra called Vishaka. So it's right at the end of Libra. And they'll also be sitting close to the Black Moon Lilith. Really, really nice energy. And whether you use it on Monday or you use it throughout the week, essentially this can bring about conversations about the long term, the call to match your words and your actions, not just to talk about what you're going to do, but to do it. And in that, to work towards something which has a long term result, or it might take you a while to achieve the fruits of that labor. And there's almost like a willingness with this meeting to do that. It can also be a time where you plan what you're going to do, maybe what you're going to do through to the end of the year while you're kind of cleaning up your home or organizing your work or your life. There can also be the opportunity with this meeting to bounce ideas off someone else. Even what you want to stop doing, like considering what you need to stop doing, what you maybe need to renege on a commitment so that you've got more space for new plans, more space for new energy, kind of like how we're tidying up our homes and our work. That can also be what we do with our words. Really, Mercury and Mars together is really about giving yourself space to be dedicated to something bigger. And you can find that you can talk about long-term plans today, and there's the energy behind it. Like, you are actually going to commit to these things. They're not just throwaway comments. And it's fascinating with Mercury and Mars because tomorrow, Mercury is going to start its shadow period before stationing retrograde on the 10th of November. Yep, we have another Mercury retrograde coming up, the final one for the year. So you might even want to pay attention just to the themes that come around today, like how you want your words to match your actions, even like where you get frustrated with people around you when they don't, because they're projecting something that you also do. Tuesday, the 21st of October, we have the new moon. Now, although the timing starts on Monday, that's when we'll feel that draw in. We'll be celebrating Diwali, the festival of light, which is all about the victory of truth over ignorance. The new moon will occur on Tuesday. It will be in a part of Libra, right at the beginning, at 4 degrees and 9 minutes of Libra in Chitra lunar mansion. Now, it will be in Chitra Nakshatra for the entire day, but Chitra sits across Virgo and Libra, so you'll kind of feel the inklings of it as you wake up in the morning, and then it will really hit with the new moon. And because it's a new moon, it's total darkness. We are being called to lay intentions. We're being called to go within. And what's really beautiful about Chitra is it's a deeply creative energy. It really, um, it really demands that you bring something into the material world, something that wants to be fashioned, to be created. Um, and it's not about impulsively creating something, it's something you're going to labor with over the coming 18 months. And there's deep wisdom around this energy. Now, if you want to learn more about how to use that new moon, about what it means for you, about where that creative energy is manifesting in your chart, check out the ritual and reading. Details are below. Also on Tuesday, Mercury's shadow begins. That will be the shadow, almost like we're being given a sneak peek into what will be coming when Mercury stations retrograde on the 10th of November. Now, I like shadow periods because it's kind of the universe giving you a little bit of a peer into what's coming, and particularly because Mercury retrograde energy can be such wildcard energy. The unexpected can happen. We can say things we don't mean to. People from our past always pop up. And what's nice when we're in the shadow period, Mercury's starting to go past the place he'll go retrograde. So the universe is going to give us a little bit of insight into what we can expect. And so one way you can use this period to the 10th of November is to track, to notice the themes that are showing up. And a really easy way to do that is to keep a journal, just to write down what's been coming up for you, who's been popping up, what are the themes of that day, and then start to pull that into like a weekly and then a fortnightly view, which will give you a very good idea of what you'll be working towards in Mercury retrograde time. When I look at the astrology, what we want to know is that he's going to spend a lot of his time between Libra and Scorpio. He'll be in Vishaka and then Anuradha for his retrograde period. And I'll talk more about what that means as we get closer to the retrograde period. But I would be saying pay attention from now through to the 4th of November, while Mercury will be in Vishaka, to the desires that are reappearing, even where you're getting wrapped up in spiritual materialism or thinking that spirituality is somehow higher and mightier than the rest of the world. It's really not. And even where you're repeating conversations with family or people you live with, there's something that's reoccurring that's coming up there. And it can also have to do with like where you find it hard to commit to things, where you find it hard to like really go after things for the long term, or you say you're going to commit to it and you don't, or other people do that. So pay attention to those conversations. Wednesday, the 22nd of October, this is a day to not get bogged down in the detail. The moon will be moving out of its new moon phase. It will be starting to build again, but we won't really feel that energy until Saturday. It will be in Libra, still in Swati Nakshatra. It will be aspecting Mercury, the Sun, and Mars. Again, after Tuesday's new moon on Wednesday, we can still feel this energy of new beginnings, of wanting to explore ideas, and even today, like feeling driven to change something, to do something. I would just be saying be very careful with the conversations you have today, where you're getting frustrated with other people because you want detail and the detail's not there, where you're trying to logically plan things that just can't be, where you're expecting perfection, or where you're expecting purity within a world that is inherently imperfect. It can be a day where it can be really hard to see the big picture. So just be careful with getting bogged down in the detail, with thinking that the answer is going to be in like getting the dates right or the letters right or fixing the spelling. It's not where it's at. Also, be careful today where you're unnecessarily influencing others because you're frustrated and annoyed, and also where they're influencing you. Just, I would be saying, like, just hold off from making big decisions on Wednesday. It can be a day where the mind feels really scattered, and even where it's a little bit destructive. Just be careful of pent up anger and frustration coming up in conversations. And instead, if you can, use this day to be open to new ideas, even like bouncing ideas off people without committing yourself necessarily to what you want to do. It's a day to really move the body. If you haven't exercised this week, use Wednesday to do it. It will benefit you immensely. It can also be a day to travel. I would be saying like moving the body is really important today because it can just help clear the mind. Even get creative, inspired, present, and playful instead of stressing about the future. On Thursday, the 23rd of October, the moon will be in the final part of Libra called Vishaka, which I've mentioned a couple of times through this in relation to Mercury and Mars. The moon will be sitting with Mercury and Mars, who are all in Vishaka, and it will still be aspecting the sun. Like yesterday, Wednesday might have been frustrating. Thursday is awesome. Thursday is about alignment. If you started to get nudges during that Monday, Tuesday around the new moon of something you want to apply yourself towards or work towards, even something that's kind of audacious, This is a day where you can find that there's this alignment between the mind, the body, the actions, and the words. It's like very unusual to get this set up, but it's giving you a reminder of what alignment really feels like when the whole of you agrees with how it wants to move forward. It's a particularly lucky day because Vishaka is ruled by Jupiter. And yes, it's in Libra, and Libra is ruled by Venus, but this particular lunar mansion is ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter has just entered its exaltation as of this week. So, what does that mean? It means it's a very lucky day. You can find that there's really great focus on being able to apply yourself to see beyond the detail that you couldn't see yesterday, to see the bigger picture, and really kind of focusing on stability and the foundations that you want to create, particularly in a financial, material sense, really creating something in the material realm. And that might even involve partnership with another. There can be the power today to really achieve what you set your mind to take the right action, to back up what the mind is thinking, to have the right conversations, to really draw upon the right resources. Even if it doesn't come straight away, there's almost this sense of like, yeah, this is it. This is where we should be heading. Just know this is not a day for being impulsive. The universe will not reward impulsive behavior today. It wants you to really commit to something and to harvest it. So if you know that you naturally have placements which make it a little bit difficult to commit, or particularly if there's a lot of Mars or Aries energy in your chart, this is a day just to slow that guy down, to really be okay with taking gradual steps and working towards something bigger. Friday, the 24th of October, the moon is going to enter Scorpio, and it will be moving from Vishaka Nakshatra, which overlaps between Libra and the beginning of Scorpio, into Anurata, which sits in the middle of Scorpio. And the moon in Scorpio, no, like it's deep in this position, it's devotional, it's loving, like it's a really deep love that the mind holds today, and an ability to really work through difficult things, difficult emotional energy that's coming from within as well as outside. And you can find that there's this push today, yes, to have difficult conversations, to work through difficult energy, but to also get the wisdom from going through that. The moon's going to be sitting with Hecate and Juno, two very important asteroids, and it can be a day where you're really in liminal space, sitting at a crossroads, and there can be flashes of insight that come to you of the past as well as of the future, how things are going to go, as well as it's like the mind is revealing to you what you have hidden or what has been hidden from you. It can also be a day where there's a need to move in a way which is more autonomous, which is less reliant on people. Like you might have found that up until Friday, there's been a big focus on what other people think about you, how they're going to support you, what your partner might be doing, or your children, or your family, or your friends. And today it's like, no, I'm moving from this anchor, from my own autonomy, calling back your power and even doing what suits you instead of trying to make something or create something or make a decision from a place of needing everyone to agree. Now, Saturn rules this part of Scorpio, so you can find there's a sense of really seeing the future today, of luck that plays out in the weirdest of circumstances, and even the feeling of things feeling quite fortunate by you not receiving what you thought you wanted. So, not getting what you wanted earlier in the week or earlier in the month actually turns out to be a really good thing today, particularly after the churning of the last few days. You can also find that the mind's very idealistic on Friday and a little bit unrealistic. So just know that if there is something that you are not meant to receive, not getting it today is actually incredible good luck. It just might not look at it at the time. Now, the sun on Friday is going to enter Swati Nakshatra. It's still in Libra, and Swati is a part of Libra, and it will be there until the 6th of November. Now, Swati can naturally scatter things. It can be very freeing and destructive at the same time. It can be a period where the atmosphere, there's a lot of air, a lot of wind, a lot of scattering of energy, and internally the mind can feel a little bit scattered. You need to be very careful what you say while the sun is in Swati until the 6th of November, because sometimes we can say things in this position and we kind of end up destroying what we're working towards. How we want to use our words is to discern, to ask questions, not make judgments or criticize another person. Know that if you're heading in the wrong direction for some reason, even if that's just navigating in a car, you can be pushed back on course through this windy energy. In this placement, the sun can bring pretty major changes, necessary changes, and shifts that need to happen, like the wind coming through and changing directions in your life, so that you can move into a new understanding of the world. There can be a big focus during this period to the 6th of November on travel, movement, motion of the body, even running, moving the body, dancing, strength training, but at a bigger level, moving for work, planning overseas trips, planning study, planning learning, exploring new frontiers physically and new frontiers through your consciousness. It can really feel like this is a time until the 6th of November of letting the wind blow you where you need to be, almost as if you were a leaf that's fallen off a tree, allowing the universe to push you where you need to be and try not to get wrapped up in overly planning everything. It's important to remember the sun is debilitated in Libra, and that's because it has to share its light. So it doesn't get to just strive and do what it wants like it does in Aries. In Libra, it can feel a little bit insecure. You might find internally that your usual vitality just isn't there, or that you're forced to share your ideas with others or your travel plans with others, when maybe you just wanted to do it by yourself, but the universe is giving you this opportunity to share it with someone else. You can even find it hard when the sun is in this part of Libra to know what you want. So, and that's because it's like you're picking up on everyone else's energy, what they need, seeing things from their point of view, not just yours. So that's why it can kind of feel windy. So be democratic, empathetic if you can, and don't worry if you can't make a decision. One of the best things we can do while the sun is in Libra is to use this as a period of time to have empathy for different points of view or multiple points of view. And if we can, use it to accumulate information, and not necessarily to judge or criticize, but to make a decision as we get into Scorpio season, which will happen in later this month. Now, actually, sorry, in November. Now, Saturday. Oh, no, still on Friday. Mercury's going to enter Scorpio. Speaking of Scorpio, it will be in Vishaka Nakshatra for the next 3 days until the 27th of October. But it will be in Scorpio until the 29th of December. And what's important, the reason it's going to be there for so long is because this is where it is going to be retrograde. Yes, it will move back into Libra briefly, but it's going to spend a lot of time in Scorpio. So again, Friday, pay attention to the topics and the themes that start to come up because we're in that Mercury retrograde shadow period. Mercury is giving you an opportunity to dive into darker topics, to topics that are normally off, like we don't talk about them. They sit over here. So secrets, death, endings, manipulation, control, even just being honest with your words, saying what you're really feeling instead of thinking you have to stick with convention. It can also bring incredible intuition and more with how you read people. Just be careful of being too paranoid. Um, Mercury, like I said, will be in Vishaka, that part of Scorpio, until the 27th. So just a couple of days. And you can find that while he's there till the 27th, use the energy he's bringing forth to put in place plans for the future, to commit to something creative, expressive, artistic, passionate, as well as expansive, like traveling, studying, learning. Even if there's a bit of fear in that, even if it's somewhere new, even if you're really unsure of what that looks like, just roll with it, flow with what feels right. You can also use this time to pay attention to old patterns of behavior, like through to the 29th of December, old patterns of behavior in your family, in how you trust others, in how maybe you don't trust others and you don't trust yourself, and then you try to control every situation. Because this is going to be a big theme in Mercury retrograde from the 10th of November. What's really cool today, Mercury is going to be conjunct the black moon Lilith as it enters Scorpio. So the energy is rebellious. It's truthful. It's very scorpionic. It's like being totally authentic and the power to have really difficult conversations and expose what is being hidden, including your own subconscious bias. We'll finish with Saturday, the 25th of October. The moon is in Scorpio still, and it's moving to the back end of Scorpio to a nakshatra called Jyeshta, which will align it with the star Antares. Now, know that that means that the cosmic weather on Sunday is going to be a little bit tense because the moon will be Gandanta. I'll talk about that in next week's forecast. But there can be devotional energy from yesterday still at play, but you can find that your mind starts to perk up on Saturday. It starts to get brighter, a little bit more extroverted, more insight coming through, particularly if you've been in the state of processing for the rest of the week. As the moon moves into Jyeshta, it will be in alignment with Vesta and Medusa, two asteroids, which means that this Saturday is going to be a day of setting personal boundaries, saying no to what doesn't fit. And really, it can be quite a spiritual day at the same time, like being able to sense that you're already complete within, regardless of what you choose to do in the material realm or what you choose to do with friends or family or loved ones. It's a day to be careful, though, of being a little bit too defensive, um, of assuming that people don't have the best in mind, that they're manipulating you, or there's kind of some kind of paranoia coming up in the mind. Just assume ignorance, not malice, and rather use this power to do what is dharmic and aligned. And there can be great courage today. So really notice where, things might not feel like they're turning out the way you want them to. And you might even call that bad luck or not getting what you want. What's important with the moon in this position is you are actually getting the best possible outcome. You just can't see it at the moment because you can't see the future. This can be a day where you're embracing something new you want to bring into the world, a new direction that you're open to, um, a new friendship, a new connection. And you can find that the energy supports you in really overcoming personal obstacles, which is perfect because it is Vinayaka Chaturthi, aka the fourth lunar day of the fortnight, or the day we honor Ganesh. So, if you know the Ganesh mantra, if you have a Ganesha practice, this is the time to do it. It will be most auspicious between 11:20 a.m. and 1:59 p.m., regardless of where you are. Now, finally, Jupiter will aspect Mercury on Saturday. Like I said, Jupiter's now in Cancer. It's going to throw an aspect perfectly to Mercury, which says to me communication around the home, with family, with changes or shifts you want to make in how you live, in the home that you're in what you own. Maybe you're in the process of selling or buying somewhere. Mercury is really pushing you to look at the long term, to not rush, to trust what is coming. And the moon, because it will be sitting with Mercury, will really help this. Just be careful when the moon is with Mercury of not overthinking things. The moon and Mercury together love to run away, like on thoughts and kind of churning the mind. And here it's like if you notice that coming up, if you're stressing about whether you should be selling your property, keeping your property, moving houses, not moving houses, slow things down. We are not in a rush with this transit. With Jupiter, you have time. Take it. So that's this week's astrology. If you want to join me for the ritual and reading for the new moon, please do. I would love to have you there. It's pre-recorded, so you can do it at home, and it includes personal written reading. If you want to dive deeper, you really want to know about what your chart looks like in a Vedic paradigm, which is more about karma, incarnation, and soul gifts, hit me up for a one-on-one reading. I have a bunch of days still in October that are free, and we can dive into your chart. I'll put the details below to book that. I hope you have a wonderful week.